All right. Welcome to the inaugural episode of D&D's two-man game. I am Damon. This is my good friend and co-host Dom, and we're here to talk to you about basketball. So,
All hoops, only hoops.
all hoops.
Very
Yeah, so
excited for this.
what do you want this show to be, Dom?
I just want you and I talk always on the phone about basketball whenever there's any updates. And I just have a lot of fun talking about it and reading about it. And I just want other people to hear what we have to say, basically, about what goes on in basketball, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely know. I feel that. I feel like we talk a lot. We have a lot of good conversations. We make each other laugh, and it's just like somebody else should be blessed with these thoughts that we're throwing out there.
Exactly. I mean, how many times were we at summer league and we were cracking up and no one around us was laughing? And it was a shame,
A
you know.
lot, too
I want people to
much.
have fun. I want people to have fun with it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think people are too serious. So I just want to have fun talking with my bud about basketball.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, what
it's
about you?
a
What do you want? What do you want out of this?
like you said, I just want to share these experiences of us talking basketball with other people. Hopefully they can get some enjoyment out of it, some insight out of it. I do want to let anyone know that is listening or watching this, we're not super hardcore analysts. We're not looking at the numbers, the stats. I mean, we know those things. We have a good idea. But we're not like, oh my God, this, advanced stat for this player makes him better than this player. That's not really our thing. We're more just kind of, taking it surface level, talking about the things that we like, the teams that we like, and just having fun with it because we think at the end of the day,
Exactly.
you know, uh, that's what basketball's all about, to sport, to have fun. So,
Yeah.
uh,
No
yeah.
one wants to look at my 2K, my GM because I don't know what's going on when it comes to budgets and whatnot. I'm signing so many people that don't make sense. So trying to learn, but I am, like you said, I just enjoy watching. I've been watching it for years, got back into it a couple of years ago, and just love watching it and just love the art of it. And I don't know, I think it's just interesting how I think it's one of the sports where people can you can find it everywhere too. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves basketball, and also everyone has a reason to like a team or anything. Either it's because you watched Kobe while growing up, or you love watching, Steph Curry. You hear he's going to break the record, or LeBron. Like I just think it's universal.
Right.
Whereas other sports sometimes can be a little hard to get into. I think basketball's pretty simple, so I
Yeah.
love that about it too. Yeah,
Easy to understand, global appeal, basketball's played
yeah,
everywhere, not just the NBA, played all over the world. I think
absolutely.
the only thing similar to that would be, football, soccer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly.
But everything else, is pretty global in basketball. So you mentioned Kobe. I
Yeah,
know he was one of your favorite players. Do you kind of want to go into you said you started watching, you stopped watching, you got back into it. Can you kind of
yeah.
take the listeners through kind of your basketball journey, your fandom, who you liked growing up, who you like now, all that good
Yeah,
stuff?
let's go on a journey.
Let's go on a
Come along
journey.
with me. Come on, guys. Come on, let's go. Go to a magical place called my childhood. My dad loves basketball. So obviously I got into a little bit from him, but when I wanted to watch basketball, when I was like 3 years old, the Lakers were everywhere. So I watched a lot of Kobe and a lot of Shaq. And one very vivid memories is watching the Derek Fisher .4 shot against the Spurs. My mom
Classic.
she let me stay up late to watch that game, and I'm so glad she did.
Shout out,
I
mom.
remember, shout out mom, thanks mom, you're the real one. And Also one of my best memories, I went to a Lakers Rockets game. It was a playoff game in '04. No,
Mm,
'04. Yeah, yeah. And I had a yellow number 8 Kobe jersey,
mm.
and everyone at the Toyota Center in Houston, because we didn't talk about it, but we're from Galveston, so it's near Houston. And so I would go to a lot of Rockets games. So I went to watch the Lakers. I was the only one wearing a Lakers jersey, and everyone I was like a 10-year-old, and everyone was just shitting on me the whole time. They're like, "Hey, you're wearing the wrong colors, man. Yeah, you're wearing the wrong." And I was like, "Dad, like protect me." Why are they making fun of me?
That's
But I remember,
interesting. You're getting
yeah,
a lot of like fan interaction as a child.
as a child, it was
That's
insane.
so
Like I'll
weird.
never forget. Yeah. And that game, it came down to the wire. It went to overtime, and Lakers won. They almost lost, and I was crying I literally was
You're
crying in the
in the
stands.
audience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And my dad was like, "Look, look, look! Kobe has the ball. They're gonna win." And then they won. So that was pretty sick.
What
But yeah,
was your dad rooting for a specific team, or was he just kind of rolling with you?
you know my dad. He does not. He's just like, I just want them to have fun.
Okay, okay, son. Okay, son.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, shout out dad. Shout out dad.
Shout out, dad.
But yeah. So came from that. Growing up, I also um was in a lot of basketball teams in Galveston. At one point, I was a part of like 4 different teams.
Okay,
My
okay.
school team went to state.
Sound like
Um,
James Harden.
yeah, but better. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not requesting a trade every other season. Am I right? Oh, we'll get into that later. Don't worry.
Hmm.
But so went to state, got bronze there. I was very much like I was a shooting guard. Sometimes it asked me to like dribble up the ball.
Mm.
Was a very good defender. I would get a lot of steals, like boxing out, a lot of rebounding. And I wasn't really one of the best like shooters or anything. I know now when we play, I got a little bit better at that.
Mm.
But so that's where that comes from. Mostly it was mostly watching Kobe. I just loved his game, and I love his confidence. My mom hated him because of that. Like he
Mhm.
was like, he's so cocky. I hate that. And I remember
Yeah.
during games, I would do like I would pick up the jersey kind of thing. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just made it, and she grounded me for doing that. She's like, stop being like bad sportsmanship. I'm like, okay,
Grounded you from
grounded me
because of
for.
what you're doing in a child basketball game?
I
That's
mean,
wild.
at this point, I was like in 6th grade, or like I was a little bit older, but even then, like I was just Kobe's cool, and I wanted to do what he did. It
Right.
wasn't like I was not in my head. I was like, I don't like this other team. I wasn't like that. I was competitive, but I wasn't like
Hmm.
I
It wasn't like
need
malicious.
exactly, exactly. And another thing I love about basketball is like I never was a big trash talker. I let my game do the talking. I
Right.
know you need to trash talk a little bit, which is fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
Playful banter.
playful ban, exactly.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing malicious. Game's over. Hey, good game. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
during the game. Um, and then I got into music. That's what I do now. So I kind of like would play basketball every now and then. Not really part of any more teams. And then I got back into it after college. And the one player, I don't even know if you know. Do you know the one player who got me back into basketball? I was watching some games just because, and I
Oh,
saw this one guy play, and I was like, "Wow, it made me feel like that same Kobe feeling." Do you know who it is?
really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
you remember?
Can you give me a team?
You're gonna know it if I say the team. It's a guy that you and I both love. And okay, I'll give you a hint. This was a
Okay.
good one. I want you to say it. I got you a shirt with his face on it.
Oh, is it? It's Luca.
Yeah, it's Luca. Yeah,
Luca.
yeah.
Okay.
No, because I loved his play style. It was shameless. Like
Yeah.
basically like Jokic. Now, like when I got more into it, I was watching more. But like I
I didn't
remember watching
realize it was
some
that
Mavericks
recent
games.
because he's only been in the league for like 5 years. I didn't realize it
Yeah,
was that recent.
yeah. It was like 2020. I mean, that's why I was excited right before the pandemic, when the shutdown. I had tickets to Clippers Mavericks.
Hmm.
And I was excited to see Luca because I remember watching. I think 2020 is when I started watching again. It was after the 2019 finals and everything, like Raptors winning and all that.
For
Um,
reference for people that don't know, Dominicus currently is in LA.
LA
Uh,
living.
I'm currently in Austin, but like you said earlier, we're both from the Galveston, which is like South Houston, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So, I grew up with everyone was Rockets fans around me, and I wanted to be
Right.
different. So I was a Lakers fan. And then I followed LeBron here. We signed LeBron, and then I moved here. I was like, gotta do it.
That happened in the same summer. We graduated.
It was the year after, like, so I
Yeah. Okay.
graduated, and then I went and came here. Yeah. But
Gotcha.
but yeah, I remember watching Luca. I just loved his like um very selfless like play style, just racking up like triple doubles. But he's a great scorer, but he's also a great passer, great rebounder, and like very like very team game mentality. And I love that in a
Right.
player. Wish his defense was better, but hey, you can't win them all. I think that's why I
Can't,
love Kobe a lot.
can't do it all. Can't have Hall of
Yeah,
Fame badges in every category.
yeah, yeah. Bronze clamps.
I don't.
That's,
That might be a stretch. You might not have any clams badges.
Oh man. But yeah, so that's my current. And then during when there was a shutdown in the bubble, like I had no time on my hands, so all I did was just read about basketball and catch up on the teams, and I missed a lot. I mean, also I remember when in the Warriors, Cavaliers were always the two teams. Like I don't know
It's
about
like
you, but to me that was just boring. I was like,
boring, yeah.
why watch it, get into it?
Right.
Um, but now I have an appreciation for it in a certain way. But I'm glad it's different now. Like we have a different winner, different champion. Like the last 4 years, I love that. I
Yeah.
think it's so cool. Um, but yeah, that's enough about me. What about how did you get into basketball?
Yeah. So growing up, I grew up um with a lot of male cousins. They're all older than me, and they're all very into sports, very into football, basketball, all kinds of things. So really, growing up, I was kind of into really just those two, football, basketball. Never, no one in my family was super into baseball or any other sport like that. Um, and basketball, we would be the thing we actually play. Football is a little more difficult to play. Basketball is like, okay, literally all you need is a ball and find a hoop somewhere, and that's it. So we'd go play, and I had fun with it. I was not super good when I was young. I didn't play in any like youth leagues or anything like that. I just played with my cousins. And then my mom was actually for some reason, really, really big Charles Barkley fan, like a really big
That's
Charles
so.
Barkley fan.
I remember it. Why?
I don't, she just liked him. I don't know why. My mom is from Detroit, so you'd think she'd be a Pistons fan,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
she's not. She was a Suns fan because she loved Charles Barkley and the Suns. And I mean that was right around, the time I was born was like right after he was on the Suns and brought him to the finals. They
Right.
lost the finals, but um, she had a Charles Barkley jersey, which I still have. It's somewhere in my closet. Um, and then also I remember I had like little Suns like baby shoes that she got me for some reason.
That's so random. I love that.
So
Shout out,
random.
mom. Shout
Shout
out,
shout out
mom.
mom. Shout out mom. Um, so when I grew up, I remember watching the Suns a lot just because my mom liked them, so I watched them. And that was when I was young, that was the 7 seconds or less era. Coach Mike D'Antoni, Steve Nash, Mari
Yeah.
Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Raja Bell, Leandro Barbosa, Boris Diaw, etc. And that team was just
Yeah.
really fun. It's like probably one of the past teams that's most similar to like a modern day team because the pace is really high.
Yeah.
They're
They
shooting a
had
lot.
they had the shooting. It's Sean Marion rainbows. You had Steve Nash with the selfless passing. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and I don't know, it was just interesting to me as a team that I really like to watch, a team I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But being from the South Houston-ish area, I also like the Rockets. Loved Tracy McGrady.
Oh,
Um,
T Mac. Gotta love
just,
him.
classic 13 points in 33 seconds. Like great memory for childhood me.
Yeah.
And the only Rockets game I remember going to is I went to a Rockets Kings game when I was a kid, and I don't remember, what the scenario was or anything. Like, I don't know if it was just a random regular season game. It seemed pretty intense. Like when I was there, it seemed like an intense game.
Yeah.
And the Rockets lost, but they were
Was it?
playing.
Yeah, it was like Mike Bibby, Chris Webber.
Yes, exactly. It was Mike Bibby,
Nice,
Chris
nice.
Webber. That team.
They're good. They're good.
It
Yeah.
was a good team, yeah. So I remember going to that team and being like, oh, like being in a basketball arena, it feels, a lot more like intimate and cool. Like I went to football games when I was a kid too, but you can go to a football game and like the players look like ants because you're so far away and the stadium's so big. It's like
Yeah.
it's hard to really enjoy this when I'm so far away. But basketball, it's like even when you're in the nosebleeds, you can see kind of everything going on,
Oh yeah.
which I really like. So, kind of like you though, I kind of fell out around high school, college. I was into to theater and other things. So I kind of stopped paying attention to sports, especially because I didn't have like my older cousins anymore that would kind of show me the things because I was living on my own or whatever. Um, so I was kind of out of it for a while. Yeah, I would tune in for, playoff championship
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but when what got me back into basketball was a player that
Oh,
you
I
you
know the
already
one. I know
know.
the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, who's the player, Dominicus?
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook. Yep, probably my favorite player ever.
Yeah.
Just because people dislike Russell Westbrook. They call him Westbrook, the silly nickname or whatever. But
Yeah.
the thing that I always liked about him when I was watching is he has so much like drive and hustle, and he's just doesn't take no for an answer, right? He's just like 100% motor the whole time, which is what I really love and appreciate in any sort of career job, but especially a professional athlete. It's like that guy has to go out there and he's only 6'3", 6'4" or
Yeah.
something, which on a basketball court is small, but he'll try to dunk over somebody a foot taller than him. And it's
Yeah.
just like the iron will that he had played with. And he makes a lot of, bad decisions, bad turnovers. He'll shoot a three or a mid-range shot, and it's like you're not a good shooter. You shouldn't be doing that. Um,
Yeah. I
but
mean, everyone airballed. I mean, Kobe airballed, his first few games. Like, you gotta give him a break. But I wanted to say, I think was interesting about Westbrook being one of your favorite players is that the Suns team that you said you loved watching was also very fast paced. And
mhm,
Russell Westbrook likes to play very fast paced too, which
yeah.
I think it's almost like an entertainment factor. I
Mhm.
guess as much as you love like the game and how they're playing it, you love how you're always engaged, which is another reason why I love it compared to other sports too.
Yeah, because basketball's it's a sport, but it's also a product. It's also NBA is a business, right? They try to make money.
Wow,
So people like that, I think, kind of help the NBA out by being so entertaining and so fast paced. And
definitely.
it's like someone like that who's gonna, you know, run and jam and just kind of keep it up like that is just better to watch than I don't know, someone like I'll throw Chris Paul under the bus.
Ooh,
Uh
okay. I thought you were gonna say James Harden, but we already talked about him. So Chris
uh
Paul's a good one.
yeah, because
Um,
I think about
yeah,
like, the Chris Paul like rip through or whatever, and it's like that's just not fun to watch. Like it's yes, it's technically a part of the game. You get a foul, you get free throws, you get free
yeah,
points, but for me as a viewer, it's not, what I want to see.
yeah.
So I loved Russell Westbrook, and I was really into the Thunder. They're when they were young, him, James Harden, Kevin Durant,
Right.
Serge Ibaka, young Jeff Green, all those people. That was a really fun team for me. Um, so I kind of went from like liking the Suns when I was young to liking the Thunder because of that team. Um,
What year was that? Because I totally missed because they went even to the finals and I
they
missed
went
that
to the finals.
entirely. I missed that entirely.
Yeah, that
Like
was
2011, right?
2011. Yeah,
Yeah,
2011.
crazy.
They went to the finals against the first year that LeBron James was on the Heat. And
Oh, right.
they lost that finals, and then they kind of kept having good deep playoff pushes. But the year that I think it was the year that the right before Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, the Thunder were up 3-1 on the Warriors. Uh, the year that they were 73-9, I think. Um, the
Yeah.
Thunder were up 3-1 on them in the playoffs, and the Warriors came back and won in the conference finals. And then
Were there
we're up 3-1 on
injuries?
the Cavs. No,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just kind of
They
blew it.
just
Yeah, so that
um,
was crazy. And then so I was a Thunder fan for a while, and then I remember making a really long Facebook post about it. It was pointless. It was like Russell Westbrook got traded to the Rockets. The
right.
first time he was on the Thunder, and I was like, oh, my favorite player just got traded to my hometown team. What do I do? Which it doesn't actually matter. Um,
Right.
but 20-year-old me thought it really mattered or whatever. Um,
Yeah, I remember actually in college, you and I had a very I remember the day we had a conversation because I've been a very much a teams fan, right? Like I'm a
mhm,
Lakers fan no matter what who's on,
right.
right? And I remember I think it was when that happened, and then something in football, like one of your favorite players like went to different team because you were a
hmm
Giants fan for forever. And
hmm
then you were like, you know what? Like I remember you like decided I'm a player fan, not a
hmm
team fan. And I was like, that's very, very interesting, I think.
Yeah, no, and I definitely have a lot of that same attitude too, because Russell Westbrook got traded to the Rockets, and I was like, oh, should I still be a Thunder fan? Like Kevin Durant had left, and we don't like Kevin
Right.
Durant anymore. But it was like I don't really know what to do here. And
Yeah.
then I moved, from Austin back to the hometown, and I started going to Rockets games. So then it was like, okay, I kind of like I should just be a Rockets fan, even though this was, right after I think we had one year with Westbrook and James Harden, and then after that they traded them. So they went to the rebuild, and it was like, oh, it's a bad team. I I usually am like a sucker for underdogs and bad teams. Like I don't like popular teams usually, I would say.
Yeah,
So that had more appeal to me. I've never really liked James Harden, as you know.
yeah.
I don't like the way he plays, but so then I kind of became a Rockets fan just because I was kind of going to a lot of Rockets game and watching a lot of Rockets.
And they're
So I,
fun. They're fun. Like they are a fun
yeah,
team, and they've been
they're
fun the last few years. Yeah.
yeah, they're fun. It's fun to watch like the development. There's definitely times where you want to pull your hair out because it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, I we've had a couple moments like that. I remember.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I still think I am like a player fan too. Like I would say I'm probably primarily a Rockets fan nowadays, but I still, there's still players around the league that I'm like, I just like that player's game, or I like
yeah.
his attitude, or I like, something about him that kind of makes me that way. Like I can think, you know,
I mean, Luca comes to mind. I know for you as well.
yeah, I like Luca. He does do a little complaining, a little complaining,
Oh, well, but that's I
foul
mean,
complaining. Everyone does foul complaining, but
which
he's
is across the board. I hate. I don't
hate it,
judge
hate
people
it.
too much about that because they'll complain, but it's not like they're actively trying to get fouled. It's also not like they're. It's just talk. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like they're not doing any actions that make me dislike watching the game. Like I mean, talk about LeBron and his like foul calling
LeBron will
is
let him go.
well, I mean, like one of
I'm
the
like,
best
what?
thing that the best thing that happens is it's so funny because like he actually, the game toward the end of the season when they played the
The
Celtics and
Celtic one?
I got fouled,
Yeah,
yeah, and he's just like
yeah. So
defeated
bad.
on the it's and then it's yeah. Anyways, yeah,
I'm like, what are
he's
you
like
doing?
yeah, but okay. Well, anyways, like back to the like, what's some players you like watching? Talk about the foul calling stuff.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, if I go through my history, some players I used to like watching as a kid. I already talked about T-Mac. I used to love
Right.
Sun, Stoudemire, Nash. Those guys were great.
Do you know what it
Um,
was about their game, or was it like maybe you were a kid and they were like the popular players, or was it like
I feel like Tracy McGrady was just very electric. Like how he played
yeah,
basketball. He was kind of a real pure like slasher, like
yeah,
three level scorer. Like he can kind of size you up at the 3-point line. And it's like
yeah,
he was tall. He's like 6'7", 6'8". So
yeah,
you'd worry about him just shooting right over you. But if you get too close, then he's driving right past you for an easy layup or dunk. So it was like the and like the way he did it was like with so much like flashiness, I guess.
yeah? And he
Um,
always looks so sleepy too. That's what's so cool about him. He had zero emotion. Well, he's not bad like Kawhi, but because definitely in that 13 points and
oh,
33
he
seconds,
loses it. He loses
he
it.
is losing it, and that's why I love that even more is because you really see him break almost. Like I
Yeah.
feel like he always is like he's playing a character who's like just
Yeah.
uh playing the game to win, and then he just like his emotion comes through, which I think is so funny.
Yeah.
But
I also
gotcha.
remember
Yeah.
liking Kevin Love a lot. Um,
Right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
he
All from what
what?
university? All from
Oh,
where?
UCLA.
Yeah, I gotta
Him
love
and
it.
Russell Westbrook. I forgot.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Wait,
yeah,
how
no,
did Kevin
his.
Love come up? I don't even know if how did you start? Why did you like him?
I
Was it
think
Wolves, Timberwolves, or like
like
after?
I watched him a little bit on the Timberwolves. I really think it was the Cavs years though when they were kind of competitive. He was kind of my favorite player on that team.
Yeah,
And at the time, I was so like anti-Warriors, especially when they had Kevin Durant, because it was like, oh, this team boring.
super
Yeah,
team.
super team
Yeah,
boring. So like, yeah, I wasn't never really a huge like LeBron fan or a Kyrie fan, but
yeah.
Kevin Love, great rebounder, which I love,
His
and
outlet passes.
outlet passes are like full court, and then he's like
Love that.
he's a good floor spacer. I remember watching he got like 34 in like the first quarter or something one
Oh
game.
yeah, I
And I
forgot
was like,
about
that's a nuts, like that's nuts. So I don't know why. I don't know why I like Kevin Love.
I like him too. I mean, also like great for him this year. He did a great job on the
Yeah,
Heat.
got to the
Uh,
finals
got to the
almost.
finals. It was all on him. Carried him on his shoulders.
Best player on on that team.
But no, yeah,
Also,
yeah. I think that makes sense. I mean, I know you've been to a lot of Rockets games, and I think I also like immediately when Westbrook was traded, remember like Harden stayed and they had John Wall. And
Hmm.
I didn't mind that team, but I mean like he was just they kept losing and Harden was like, I can't win with this team. It was like, come on.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't like that. He was, really blaming the other guys. I was like, you can step up too. You can try and, do more. But I think they're great. They're fun now. And I mean, they made it the summer league. They went to the finals, lost to the Cavs, which is
Yeah.
a shame. But they're a great team. We watched Sam Merrill. I bet he went off on that last game.
Yeah,
That's great.
I did not watch the championship, so I'm not
Yeah,
even sure what
didn't
happened.
either. But
But
yeah, I know you're a Rockets fan, but I know your team. I mean, player fan too, and I think
oh,
that's what makes it fun. Is that you can be like a fan of a player, not
yeah.
necessarily a team.
Yeah, it's like, especially when you get to a scenario like I'm in right now where the Rockets are out of the playoffs several years in a row. Once
Yeah,
playoff time comes around, it helps to have alternative people to be like, okay, well, this team has so and so player that I like, so it makes it a little easier to root for them, something to kind of, root for once it does get to playoff time. The
yeah.
one other player that came to mind for some reason was young Celtic Rajon Rondo.
Wait, you watch young Rajon Rondo?
Yeah, I was a big Rondo guy. I was a big Rondo guy.
That's so interesting to me. I used to not like him because, Lakers Celtics thing.
Right.
But then he was on the Lakers and I thought he was awesome in the bubble.
Hmm.
Playoff Rondo. But that's so interesting. And did you see like I know he had some stuff going on like a year or two ago. But now he's like coaching, he was coaching with LeBron. Like he was coaching some like
I didn't know
students.
any of that.
Anyway, it's just cool to see Rondo. Like I think he's a very knowledgeable basketball player, and he's definitely fun to watch and very competitive and um, electric, kind of like T Mac, like
Yeah,
your
he had good.
Westbrook.
It was
Yeah,
interesting, and he wasn't a shooter, but
right.
he was like great playmaker, great defender, and
Yeah,
for some reason I really admire those things about him. And I mean, I was never a great shooter, so that could be why. I've never been
yeah,
a great floor spacer. I'm relatively tall for casual basketball. Um,
yeah,
so it's like, people always want me to rebound and go back up or
yeah.
whatever. So
And like back down people and what I
back then,
remember. Yeah,
yeah, which is
yeah,
annoying
yeah.
because that's not I don't like doing that, but
But you practiced a lot. Last time we played, you got those turnaround jumpers. You've been practicing. I
I'm
can
working on
tell.
my post fade, my
Yeah,
little
you got
post
it.
hook.
You're getting
Um,
it.
so maybe the players that don't shoot as well might appeal to me because of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
what
I've
about you? I
like current members or current
current past, we talked about Kobe a little bit, talked about
Kobe, Luca a little bit
Luca,
this
yeah,
time. Yeah, the only thing about Luca, I wish he was a better defender. I love like great defenders.
yeah. Hmm.
Very big fan of that just because it's probably part of my game and I think defense can win, games and
Hmm.
championships and whatnot. I mean, you can look at the Lakers like you could say Alex Caruso was a huge part of why they won that championship, just his defense and we got Austin Reeves, who's a great defender. Um, really like him as a player. Who are some players who I always talk about? Why am I blanking right now on people?
I was
Um,
blanking a little bit too. I was like,
I know
oh
it's
God, who
it's
do I
tough,
watch?
right? I
Um,
remember like I used to think Damian Lillard was like like a really cocky player, but like when I was like I don't think I will like him, and I would watch him more, and I really like his game, and he is so like yeah, he's a little bit of a trash talker, but he lets his game do the talking, and that's
mhm.
something I love. Like he's like that's one reason why like it's one reason why I like why I don't like even though like Draymond is a good player for what he does, like he just does too
Mhm.
much talking for me to like his
Yeah,
game in that way. Whereas like Dame's like, I'm just gonna let my game do the talking. Another player we didn't talk about, but I know we both like Kawhi
go
because we
on.
haven't seen him play like a lot, unfortunately, the
Whenever
past
he
like two
actually
years.
plays basketball.
Yeah, love that. Like very much, maybe I wish he had more fun with it, but great defender.
Hmm.
Um, just one of those people like he does things and you're like, I can't believe he was able to make that shot and
Hmm.
get that steal. No, Jimmy Butler comes to mind too.
Oh, Jimmy
Uh,
Butler's great.
really fun to watch
Love
and
Jimmy Butler.
love his competitiveness and especially like in that Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics. That was really a
Mhm.
really good series to watch for that. I know he's on the Celtics, but I really like Jason Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what they do this year.
It
Um,
sounds like you have a a little bit of an archetype. You like the three and D kind of
yeah,
wing players, but some of those guys, Jimmy, Jason, Jalen, they're also ball handlers. And
yeah,
that kind of reminds me of what you said earlier about your game. You brought the ball up
yeah,
court, you pride yourself on defense. You said you weren't
exactly.
that great of a shooter when you were younger, but you've become better now.
Yeah, yeah. I know
And
we had some plays drawn up that I would go to the 3-point line, but I was probably like a 30%. I mean, when you're a kid, you probably
30% as a
not.
child is amazing. I mean, that's
I mean,
great.
if you get the shot off, you know what I mean? But I remember a lot of the time too when I would play basketball, I didn't get along with the coach that we had at my school, and
Hmm.
I would kind of coach while playing, and he would see that and he'd get upset and take me out of the game, and I'm like we're not going to win if we're doing it the way you do, and because it's a certain point I'm talking about how I'm not very competitive with the things I want to win at the end of the day
Hmm.
too. And he was more like, we got to get everyone involved. I'm like, we gotta win.
I don't
Like, I
care
get
about
that.
being involved. Care about going
um
home a champion.
yeah, I care. I mean, we've played, like, I like getting people I'm playing with involved, even if they're not like, the best player, but
That kid wants to play, tell him to be better.
um I don't know, it's just um I want I don't know what it is about basketball, but I know I have this knowledge, and when I play, I just want to help people that aren't as good, like, just be better,
Right.
So I like having those people on my team, but I also want to win at the end of the day. But I do like those players. I like the ones that can has a respectable offensive game, but maybe is like a beast on defense, is
Right.
kind of like what I really enjoy
Have you checked
watching.
out do you watch a lot of Raptors?
We're gonna say Pascal or OG. You're gonna say
Uh,
OG.
like all of their players, OG, Pascal,
Yeah,
Scotty Barnes. That's like their whole team is 3 and D
yeah, like
wing
wings.
players.
Maybe it's an overload for me. I don't know. The Raptors have been a strange team because they almost feel like they're. This is not true by any means, but I think it's because they're international. They're almost like an afterthought to me. Like, they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, they are a team. Even though I love, like, the team, and I mean, I'm great. I'm glad that they won that championship, and I think they're fun to watch. And Toronto's a cool city. Dinosaurs are sick. So, but it's for whatever reason, it's just like that one thing. Like, oh yeah, they are in that, like, division for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Just
No, there's some teams like that for sure. Like even not international teams. It's just like, when do I think about the Wizards? Never.
exactly. I
Like
mean, no reason to think about them, even though we each have a Wizards
we each have a Wizard. You just call them
Westbrook. I
Westbrook.
know, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
How could you?
Um, no, I mean, I wore that. I like wearing that jersey. It's a fun one. But no, yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, I just, whenever the season's going on, I know I was texting you about, like, I just watched games randomly when I had time. I
Hmm.
know I had a bit more. I would catch bits in here and there, but I was never really able to catch full games a lot because I'm pretty busy. But um, so I'll watch whoever's on. Like, I remember, like, I would just watch the Hornets because even though I don't like a lot, like, I don't see where their direction is.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do this year. I mean, they're interesting for sure. Um, but I remember I would catch, like, the Wizards. You know what? Who I do like. This is going to be a little out of left field, but I remember you and me talked about him. I like Emmanuel quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I do. IQ. I like
Yeah.
him quite a
Good
bit.
defender,
Great
ball
defender,
handler.
ball handler.
They
Boom.
seem to, yeah, and it's kind of like that. I mean, obviously you can't compare every player to Kobe, but it
Of
falls
course,
into that
yeah.
that Kobe mold because Kobe was like what 6'5", 6'6". He handled
Six
the
six,
ball a
yeah.
lot, even though he was a not the point guard, but he handled a lot. He played good defense. So, it sounds
Exactly.
like those people that kind of possess at least some of those traits um, stick out to you as players, which I think is interesting because I think it's kind of similar to
Yeah.
me when I think of T-Mac and Russell Westbrook. Those are two different players, but they were both slashers, drivers, finishers, hustle, heart,
Yeah.
whatever. So I
See,
think there's those
yeah.
qualities that appeal to us as we kind of
Yeah, I
watch
just
newer
love
players.
yeah, I also just love watching basketball players that love the
Mm,
game. They love
mm-hmm,
playing basketball, and you
mm-hmm,
can tell from their game. Like I think of like Donovan Mitchell is another one. Like
mm.
Darius Garland. Like you can just tell when they're playing, they love it. That's why
The
like some
Cavs.
players, the Cavs. But I don't know, like some professionals aren't, they know they're good, and you can see like they almost joylessly play, and
Hmm.
those players don't really come to mind. You know what I mean? Like they're not the ones I want to watch.
Yeah,
It's almost like when you want to watch anyone do anything, that you go to a concert, you don't want to see the people on stage just look miserable playing music. Like you want to see them
right.
happy. So
No,
that's what I want at the end of the day, is just people that are, no matter what the circumstance, giving it all. I mean, we can even talk about summer league, because as you can see, both went to summer league. I was sick.
yeah,
But talking about like giving it all, leaving it on the court. I mean, what did you see at summer league this year?
yeah. So for listeners, Tom and I went to summer league for the first time. Happened to be the Wimby year, which has made it the most hyped summer league ever. There's so many people there. We unfortunately did not go the first weekend, and I think that that is something I would probably change next year is just going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because after that, people started getting shut down, and things like that. So we kind of started seeing less of the players that we know. But what you
Yeah.
were just saying,
Hmm.
summer league. The thing that I really liked about it is there were basically two categories of players. There were rookie, sophomore type players that were just kind of getting their feet wet on the NBA court, trying to get, adjust, whether it's from college or G League or international, wherever they came from. They're trying to adjust to kind of the NBA level. And a lot of those people were dominating, second year players. I'm a Rockets fan. Jabari Smith dominated. Tari Eason dominated.
Dominated.
Um,
Yeah, that was so fun to watch.
yeah,
I'm
and
glad we caught them. Yeah, that was cool.
so there were those kind of players. Keegan Murray comes to mind. Other second year players over there. And then there were the players you were talking about, players trying to just make an NBA roster, a two-way contract, the 15th man, sitting on the bench. But it was the purest basketball because they're out there leaving it all on the line. They don't care about the fame or the money, and they even though they, in their mind they probably all think that they're NBA level talent, they're ready for this. They know it's really just all about opportunity. It's
Of
about,
course, yeah.
making your presence known. So we were just watching these random guys, and we did not know any of them, but they are just
Yeah.
giving it their all. And that was awesome. That
Yeah.
was probably my favorite part of summer league, and a reason I definitely want to go again. In future years. It'll probably be a little easier without the Wimby hype to kind of get in and experience it. But yeah, seeing those guys that were really just trying to make it onto a roster, I thought was great. Seeing the different players and coaches and things for teams that showed up to support, I thought was really awesome. Again, going on the first weekend, you'll probably see a little bit more because after the first couple days, it probably kind of dwindles down. Which is weird because no one stays for like the championship or anything.
Yeah, isn't that
Which
weird? I was like, how many? I mean, towards the end, like there were some really important games, and there was like no
no one
one.
there,
You would
yeah.
see like the arena, and it was like no one there, which is, it was weird. It was weird, but it's interesting because I get that. I was a little surprised by how long it lasts. It's in like 2.5 weeks, which is,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like a week,
Mm-hmm.
which I think would make more sense. But I understand that you want to see everyone play, and you want to give everyone the opportunity to play. Um,
Yeah.
but definitely like that Sunday when we went, that first weekend was the hypest for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Like, I mean, we had trouble finding seats, or like we got there early, but then we left, got to come back, and like it was tough. The other days we walked right to the front, like
Yeah.
you know. Um, but no, I see exactly what you're saying, and I thought that was also why I loved it as well. I didn't know what to think,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't watch a lot of college basketball, because to me, I'm like, okay, maybe three of these guys are going to make it in the NBA. I'll wait
Yeah.
till they make it,
Me
But I
neither.
thought, yeah, exactly. Summer League, I thought was really interesting because it's like in the middle, it's in between college basketball and the NBA. So
Mm-hmm.
it's these people that were in college. Now, I think also why I don't like colleges, there's so many. I mean, there's hundreds of colleges. How am I supposed to watch all these people, right?
Right.
So they funnel it into a summer league, and again, like maybe 15 of these people will have their name known moving forward in the NBA ever.
Right.
But there's but it's a smaller sample size, right? You just got 30 teams, summer league teams, not hundreds. And then, you watch them put it all on the court. I mean, people were diving for balls left and right. Um, really trying to block every shot, not just letting, no easy shots. I
Hmm.
love that. And everyone hustled. Even if they were down 20, they're like, there's no such thing as garbage time, just garbage
Hmm.
players, type thing. So really enjoyed just watching that. I mean, even the games when there weren't a ton of people, I remember when it was the Clippers and Kings game. It was still a fun game.
Oh yeah,
Like, yeah, it was still fun, and
because the people
everyone
that are there were so into it too. Like even though
exactly
there
because
wasn't
the
that many of them,
diehard.
they were into it.
Yeah, you got that Clippers fan in the blue
The
afro,
afro, yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, I gotta love it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
what was the
fun.
thing? What was the
A
thing?
boing, yoing, yoing, yoing,
Oh
yoing.
yeah.
Yeah.
While people
So
were shooting free
whenever,
throws.
yeah, he would just scream from the side, boing, yoing, 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 and it worked, which was made me upset. I was rooting for the Kings, gotta
Rooting
admit,
for the
but
yeah, yeah.
Chris Murray, come on. But
Nope, nope. He's on the Blazers.
right, that's what I meant. Uh, this is something, listeners and viewers. This is something you'll learn. Damon knows a little bit more than me when it comes to this stuff. I
Keegan
know
Keegan Murray's on the Kings, but
I know. I remember. I thought they were twins on the same team, but I forgot that they're not on the same team. But Keegan was there to support Chris Murray
yes,
in the
yes,
Blazers game, which was
yes.
good. See that I remember, and that's correct. But yeah, I mean, so we watched quite a bit of Brandon Miller. We saw him twice play.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really super impressed, but summer league is just he'll get minutes in the NBA. We'll see what he could do.
Right.
You don't have to have a great summer league to be a good NBA player.
Yeah.
Uh, we
I've seen
caught Win. Yeah.
a lot of, good summer leagues, bad NBA players, bad summer leagues,
Oh
good
yeah.
NBA players.
Exactly. That Sunday we caught Wimby for the first half, right? Or was it first quarter?
It
First
was the
half, I
first
think.
half, I think. It was his best game
Yeah.
too. He ended up turning it
Yeah.
up in the second half, but I think
Yeah.
we wanted to go watch the game in the other court. Is that what happened? We went to
We went to
the
the
Cox Arena.
podcast recording.
Oh,
No, we
oh, we
left
left for the
early.
podcast. Ah, yes.
Yeah, that's what it
Through the
was.
wire. Shout out
Through
to
the
the wire.
wire, through the wire.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that was the same day.
Yeah, that's why we left a little early. And then of course when we leave, Wimby goes off. But
Right.
um yeah, I remember. So here's a funny story. Like my mom, who does not watch basketball at all, even my dad, I keep them in the loop really about everything going on in the NBA.
Hmm.
They even were like, "Did you see Wimbignana?
Yeah.
Wimbignana?" They're like, they just knew
The hype
of it.
is extreme. Yeah.
Yeah, and I sent them pictures, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're seeing him and everything." It was interesting. I'm really excited. I'm interested to see what the Spurs do this year. I know I like the Alamo Arena, right? Is what they call it in San Antonio.
I think it's AT&T.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's the Alamo Dome is what it used to be. Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I went to a game this last year. I know you did too.
hmm.
It's a
I
new
don't even
arena. It's
remember who they
fun.
played.
I know I saw Pelicans because I wanted to see Valanciunas. I'm Lithuanian, by the way, viewers and listeners. So also,
Okay.
another player I love, Sabonis. We didn't even talk about, or Darren Fox. I don't know. I'm backtracking a little bit, but there's also great players. But Summer League was very fun.
Hmm.
We got to meet some NBA players,
Mm.
which is really cool. So we saw a lot. We didn't get to meet as many as we saw, but we
Show
did
the
meet.
hat. Show the hat.
I gotta show the hat. Okay,
I
so
have a
for
hat
whatever,
too, but it's somewhere.
yeah, I have a Houston Rockets hat I just bought, and we got Trey J, Jaron Jackson Jr. signed right here. Very nice guy. Although
Raining
he was
DPOY.
reigning DPOY. I asked him when we met him. Um, and I said, like, congratulations on DPOY, like, well deserved. And he was like, thanks, man. I said, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it again this year. He said, oh man, they're not gonna give it to me twice in a row. So I thought that was fun. I thought that was a little fun.
Yeah.
And then
It was crazy. I was looking at the pictures we took with him. He was sitting in the stool and as tall as us. I was like,
I
how is that
know.
even possible? That doesn't make sense.
I'm so glad he was sitting though. If he was standing, I would have been like, I gotta go. I gotta go. This is crazy. And then we met the GOAT. We got the
The
GOAT
GOAT
right here at number 7.
for the Denver
Uh
Nuggets, reigning champion,
Reggie
Reggie
Jackson, the
Jackson.
man
Reggie
himself.
Jackson. Uh,
Uh
Dom and I love
Nice
Reggie Jackson.
guy. He's so fun to watch. I live in LA, but Lakers games are about like $100 like about every game, and that's a lot of money. So I
Right.
go to a lot of Clippers games. What I usually do is when I go to the Clippers games, I root for the other team, but we don't talk about that. I'm just there to enjoy basketball, right? I just want to watch basketball.
Team
And I
enjoy
remember,
basketball. Shout out enjoy
absolutely,
basketball.
yeah, shout out. And it's so funny that I went, to games last year and the year before, and Clippers fans loved Reggie Jackson. They would just chant MVP when he was at the free throw line, even when he wasn't having a great game. They would just chant for him. I just think he's such a interesting player to watch, and I mean, good for him. He's back on the Nuggets, got a good contract for him.
Hmm.
He's a
Yeah.
champion now.
I think.
I
Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead. Okay.
I was just gonna say also that, like, we met Jaron and Reggie, and I sent pictures to like family and friends, and no one knew who they were, which I thought was so funny. They're like, cool. I can tell they're NBA players because they're tall.
They're
To like
tall, yeah.
about it. I mean, what Reggie Jack was 6'1", 6'2", but you could tell
No,
he was just
he's like 6'5". He was taller than me, and I'm like 6'2" and
no.
a half.
I got to look at the pictures again.
Yeah, he was taller than me.
That's wild. But everyone
Jackson
could
only
tell.
hat, by the way. That's
Jackson's only. We got to get other Jackson sign this
Mark
hat.
Jackson.
Mark Jackson. I was gonna say the hotter than fish grease, but it's a different Mark. I
That's
think
that's Mark Jacobs, I think. No,
no,
that's a
Mark Jacobs
designer. That's a
is a
designer.
designer. Too many Marks. Hey, if you're having a kid soon, don't name him Mark.
We're done
Just
with
don't.
Mark.
We're done. Mark's done. Biblical. It's
Don't do
over.
Marcus
Moving
either, because
past it.
if they go
Too
by
close.
Mark, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Yeah, they're gonna do it because it's easier than Marcus. So don't name them Mark.
I was trying
But
to Isaiah Jackson. You know who that is?
I was gonna say Isaiah Jackson, but I was thinking of Isaiah Stewart. So like I just feel like, again, you're gonna hear a lot of me flubbing up names,
What
and
what
Damon just
what team do you think
backtracking.
Isaiah Jackson plays for?
Um, I want to say Pistons, but it's not because I'm thinking Isaiah Stewart.
Same division.
But oh God, I'm gonna say like not Bucks,
Nope.
Bulls,
Nope.
Pacers.
Yep. There you go.
There
I
you
knew you
go.
knew it. I knew you knew it. You had it in the bag the whole time.
There's exactly.
No,
I knew it the
never a
whole
doubt.
time. Also on the topic of just because I felt bad when we were talking about favorite players currently, we couldn't think of any. Tyrese Halliburton,
Oh,
great
love
player. Yeah,
Tyrese
yeah,
Halliburton.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
person. He's good personality too. He
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he plays like 2K with Click Productions and Kenny and like all of them.
yeah,
He like talks to them, so
yeah.
that's kind of
He's
cool.
yeah, and also his game's great. Very like selfless player. Triple double threat almost every game.
Hmm.
Hopefully he's not injured because Pacers are really fun. They're gonna be really fun to watch this year.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like a top five, three. They're
Wow.
up there.
Okay. Hot take. Hot
No, no,
take.
no, no,
Okay.
no, not standings. Fun to watch.
Oh, fun to watch. Okay,
No,
yeah.
no,
Let's
no,
yeah. Let's. I was
not
gonna say.
standings.
I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I like them, but I don't know about that. Yeah, Obi Toppin really puts them over the top. Yeah, they're gonna be.
Ah,
I don't know. You see that? You like that? It's gonna. They're gonna be fun to watch. But yeah, summer league was great.
lot
We
of,
watched.
lot of, celebrity row. A lot of
Yeah.
people, a lot of former players, current players, coaches, general
Oh,
managers. I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Zach Lowe's podcast. And he was talking about the Win. I guess it's like a hotel. The Win.
WWYNN, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that was a hotel where I don't know if he was staying at it, but like a bunch of NBA talent, like he could walk to the lobby and he was like, I was walking to the lobby and I saw Brad Stevens right here, and then I saw this person right here and this person right here, and I was like, okay, now I know next time where I need to hang out, where I need to stay.
Look, that's pretty cool, but where we stayed was also pretty cool
Where we
because
stayed,
who stayed? Who was in the same
the
hotel as us?
the Houston Rockets, the Golden Nugget, owned
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Tillman Fertitta.
I hate that guy, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to be near the Rockets. I
They
mean, who do we?
saw Amin, saw
Amon
Amin,
Thompson in the
Eamon,
boot.
Eamon Amin. I still don't know if I'm
The
pronouncing it
one in
correctly.
the one in the boot.
The
So
one in the boot.
Saw him. We saw Jay Huff getting Chick-fil-A.
Saw Jay Huff. He's on the Nuggets now. He got
Nuggets
signed for the
goat.
Nuggets.
Nuggets
Yeah.
goat now. Yeah, yeah.
I
That'd be
we're
fun.
literally standing there like we're both Rockets fans, and his ass was not even on the team anymore by the
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
looks
because
so
we
dumb.
saw them play the next day and he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Like
But we saw him play the day before and he was the starting center, so I thought he was on the
literally.
Rockets.
Yeah.
But
I mean, who would have
nope, he
thought that
just disappeared in the middle of
he
summer
did?
league to a
Yeah, he
different
did
team.
good. Yeah, it wasn't like he did bad anyways, but
And Brian said
um
he saw Cam Whitmore. Um,
that's cool. I mean, we saw Cam Whitmore. I mean, we didn't meet him, but we saw
saw him
him
at the
at
pod.
the podcast,
Yeah.
which was great.
And
Very,
he won the summer league MVP. So
yeah, and he was one of the most fun to watch. I mean, he airballed quite a bit, but
he a lot of short shots.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, when he connected and his hustle was there and
Hmm.
so fun to watch. And yeah, a lot of respect for him. Very excited to see what he does on the Rockets too.
Yeah. And I like what what he did already said on the podcast where they asked him like if you're not scoring, what do you want to contribute? And he was like, my defense, I want to be in the passing lanes. I want to, help my team win. And I think that's really the attitude you need for winning players. Because a lot of times we see
Yeah,
players that when they're not scoring effectively, it's really affecting their whole like mood, personality, bringing them down. That'll bring the rest of the team down. And that's just not winning basketball. And the Rockets need some guys that are going to hustle on defense and do things like that. I think,
yeah.
especially with all the young talent they have, I think they'll be really good in transition. So those kind of
Oh yeah,
defensive, stops will help them kind of kickstart their offense because the half court, is not there.
right.
May
Yeah, and
may
doesn't have to
change.
be, and it'll probably change. Yeah, we got Fred VanVleet
Yeah. So
coming
let's get into
in.
that. Let's get into that.
I was actually just about to do the segue too into talking about like the off season and
Yeah,
like how do you feel? Let's talk about first like the draft for the Rockets. Like, how do you think the draft
draft.
went for the
Okay.
Rockets?
So originally I was sad in the draft lottery. We fell to four. Um, because for a lot of people I mean, it was a one player draft. Wemby was going one regardless.
Mhm.
Um, but after that, Scoot and Brandon Miller were both like highly, highly touted. They were kind of
Yeah,
fought
yeah.
over for pick number 2 and 3. And then it's like 4 is kind of where the draft opened up. Like, oh, we don't really know who's gonna go
Could
here.
be anyone, right? Yeah.
So when I'm watching the draft lottery live, and I'm like, okay, the Rockets I think had the first or second odds. I don't remember it. The top three are tied 14%, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think it affects how far you drop. Like I think if you have the first odds, you can only drop to 5. If you have the second odds, you can drop to 6, so
Something
on.
like that. Yeah.
Um, but I was like, okay, obviously getting one Wimby, oh my God, amazing. Getting two and getting like Scoot, oh, that'd be pretty cool too. Brandon
Yeah.
Miller, big wing defense. I like those things. Great. I'm watching the thing, and then when they do the draft lottery, they go into until pick number 4, and then they take a break. So I watched, I think the Pistons. The Pistons fell to 5, and I was
Yeah.
like, yes, awesome. We're in the top 4. Great. As long as we're not 4, that's gonna be awesome. And then we come back from the break, and they go, and the fourth pick goes to the Rockets. I'm like, God damn it, we've been tanking for 3 years. Haven't had the first pick. We had
Yeah. Yeah. Damn shame.
2 with Jalen Green. We had 3 with Jabari Smith.
Jabari. Yeah.
Um, now we
Now
have 4
four.
with
Oh, 2, 3, 4. I didn't even
two,
think
three,
about
four.
that.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting.
so I was a little disappointed, but when we go to the draft, coming up to the draft, we talked about this, texting, calling, whatever. I think I said like, I want Amon
Right. I'm in.
Thompson. I don't know.
That one.
That one. um, yeah, I was like, I want him. Looking at how he plays, he's big. We need some size, and he's facilitator. He's a defender. Those are things the Rockets have not had. We have a lot of scorers. We don't
Yeah.
have a ton of cohesiveness. We don't have a lot of good defense. We don't have a lot of size. So I thought, yep, that'll be a good pick at 4.
Yeah. Also, he's
Hope,
a winner, right? Didn't he wasn't in the G League, but what team was he on with his
yeah.
brother?
So they were in an Atlanta-based league called
That's what it
Overtime
was.
Elite.
That's what it
But
was.
yeah,
And
him and Asar, yeah, they won the championship.
yeah,
Yeah.
winner mentality. Like you definitely want that too,
Hmm.
on a team rebuilding. So,
And then, we saw some of those pre-draft videos where he's answering questions about basketball, clearly has
oh
knowledge about the game, things like that. I always
yeah,
love.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because I don't know if you're whoever's watching and listening know this, but Damon loves his little facts. Loves knowing things
Love,
about the
I,
game.
I love knowing.
I love knowledge. All
Knowledge is
this
my favorite.
knowledge.
No, yeah. So when he was answering questions about like old drafts and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, I like this guy's kind
Crazy.
of
Yeah.
mentality. Um, and then they picked him at 4, so I was really happy about that. I was like, okay, I think at 4, if that's all that's on the board, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, I
And
think so too. Yeah.
a lot of drafts had at 5 they had Pistons taking Cam Whitmore,
Hmm.
because he was a top 5 talent, and I thought, okay, we have another pick all the way at 20. Once we kind of get out of the top 10,
Yeah.
I'm kind of checked out. I'm like, I don't really know these guys super well.
Yeah.
There's a couple names I'll know. Like I was excited when the Rockets got Tari Eason a couple of years ago because
Yeah.
I had looked into his game and he was a defender, hustler, things that I appreciates. Um, but I'm watching the draft and Tim Whitmore just starts sliding. He just starts falling. And I saw news that was like Tim Whitmore's falling because of injury concern. And this was something I hadn't heard of before
Yeah. Me
the
either.
draft.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's wild. Is there a way he falls all the way to 20? Um, and he did. And I'm glad the Rockets took him. I'm glad they didn't pass up on him and let him fall even further because
Yeah. Yeah.
talent wise, he's up there in the top 5. And I think in Vegas, he just had his 19th birthday. So like he is really young.
He was
Um,
19 or 20. It was one of those two, but yeah, very young.
yeah, he's really young. The
Yeah.
upside is there. Hopefully the physical is not too bad. Um, I think, like you said, also has that winner mentality of just kind of putting it all out on the table. And I think, being drafted 20 when you're projected to be possibly a top 5 pick, it's going to put a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come in with something to prove. I think he already did that in summer league. He
Yeah.
went
I
in and
think so
was
too.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you thought I was the 20th best player? Well, I'm about to win MVP of summer league and just prove everybody wrong."
Yeah,
Um,
especially with Amin out, and then they shut down Jabari and
right,
Tari, and really Cam Whitmore shined. And
yeah,
him and Darius Days. Let's be
him and
honest.
Darius Days and
Yeah, yeah.
Matthew Mayer. Let's not
Oh,
forget
I
Matthew
forgot.
Mayer.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we watched him make like five, no, 3 or 4 in a row. Like he made,
Automatic, just
yeah,
automatic.
it's wild. But yeah, but
It was crazy. He kept calling for the ball. He was like,
come
"Ball
on,
me!
throw
I'm
it to
I'm
me.
on a I'm a
Yeah.
monster."
But
Um,
no, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I agree with your thoughts on the Rockets draft. I thought they did a great job. Now where I might have other opinions on what they could have done with all that money is with what they did with all that cap space and
Yeah.
current NBA players. I mean, I think you have it up. So they signed, we got Fred VanVleet,
Hmm.
which I like his game.
About a
Uh,
billion dollars a year, I think. That's pretty
About a
big.
billion,
Yeah.
billion, 2 billion. I love his game. Bit of an overpay, I think, in my eyes. But you want winning players as a winning player as a championship with the Raptors.
Yeah.
He's gonna bring that into the locker room.
Hmm.
I think if there's one thing about the Rockets team that I think they need is just a bit more maturity.
Hmm.
And that's where I really didn't like the second signing with Dylan Brooks, because we're talking about players that let their game do the talking. And I think, you know, I liked Dylan Brooks. I liked his defensive side of the game, obviously.
Hmm.
When I first started getting back into basketball, it was his tenacity, and I think that's important, obviously. But when you pair that with a personality that I don't know is trash talking when he doesn't have the I don't say the right to, because obviously he does, but he can't back it up.
Can't back it up.
He
Yeah.
does not have the offensive capability to back it up. And I mean, there's even the questionable, he broke whether it was on purpose or not, Gary Payton the second's arm. And I mean, who else has he like just recklessly kind of defended that they got injured? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Somebody else. Um
No. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know if there was another like big injury like that.
yeah,
I
I know
know
there
in
was.
the Lakers series he did a lot of like kind of chirping and was playing like overly physical.
Yeah,
Um,
and he was just talking about how like LeBron is washed, and
yeah.
he was just like, I'm better than LeBron, and it's just like Like it's just ridiculous. Like that's just crossing a line in my like in my eyes. But so I wanted more maturity on the Rockets, right? And
Hmm.
I know there were rumors that they're going to sign him, and I know they needed wings and defense and whatnot, but really wish they would have went a different direction. I mean, we'll see it um how the season
Yeah.
goes with that. I mean, how do you feel? Am I being too harsh?
No, I definitely understand your concerns, and I'm trying to play benefit of the doubt because it's my
Right.
team. Um, Fred VanVleet, big overpay, big
Yeah.
overpay. Um, Good player, one-time All-Star, shoots
Yeah.
inefficiently. I
It hit
remember
his
seeing
worst season, right? This last year.
it was I don't know if it's worse, when he was young, didn't get that much PT because he was
Yeah, yeah.
undrafted. But it was
Right.
inefficient.
Right.
Inefficient. So I read a funny stat that like the amount of money he's going to make this year is going to be higher than his field goal percentage last year. Um, and I was like, that's crazy. And I think
Yeah.
that's okay because um, the new CBA, they have this thing called the Iron Curtain. I don't remember something with a cap floor, but basically like in the past, teams could not spend their cap room, and it's okay. But now, if they don't spend like a certain amount of their cap room, they get penalized for it. Like they lose
Yeah.
draft capital or trade exceptions or something
Yeah.
like that. So like teams now have to spend a certain amount of money in free agency. Um,
Which I
so
like. I
yeah, I
think,
like that too. I think it's
yeah.
smart. Um,
I think that way because I mean, if my team was like the Rockets, right? Like they had so much in the cap, and they were like, we're not gonna spend it this year. We're just gonna save it. I'm like, why? Just
right.
maybe as much as they spent was a bit too much, like you're saying, overpay and whatnot. But I'm glad they did something more, to push it in the right direction, right? Get some uh leadership more or less on the I mean that there goes to Jeff Green. There we go. We got Jeff Green back.
Hmm. Yeah.
Which I like. I mean, he's on the older side and but I don't think it's a bad signing. I mean, he just be in the locker room. He'll be like the Jared Dudley of the 2020 Lakers. He'll play more than Jared. He's better than Jared Dudley, let's be honest. But better player than that. But it's that is more of a signing. I'm like, I like this, where it's not going to make them contenders. They're not going to be rising in the ranks of the West, but it is going to you know help them. I don't know, just become more mature and have that like presence in the locker room to tell them when they're doing something wrong, doing something right. I mean, also got a new coach, right?
Mm.
Starting over from scratch basically. Which I mean he did a great job with the Celtics. And was that his first coaching job, like head coaching job?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I
was
mean he did,
a Spurs assistant.
so he worked with Popovich, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited to see like what they do with that. Who else did they I'm missing some people, I think.
Yeah. So aside from Fred, Dylan, Jeff, they also signed Jock Landale, um,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
who,
yeah.
he was I think a couple years ago he was on the Spurs, and then last year he was on Phoenix, and there's
Sons,
a lot of
yeah.
time in Phoenix that, he was a good pick and roll rim running center, which they needed at times when, DeAndre Ayton was trying to do a little too much, um,
Right.
because he likes
Or
pick
couldn't
and roll.
defend, or right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but no, I think like going back a little bit to the Fred VanVleet contract, I think I don't mind it as long as because I think the Rockets have scorers. I think that's the difference between, what he's going to do here and what he's going to do or what he did on the Raptors. Because he's mostly in charge of kind of facilitating, getting people involved. And he's short. He's like 6 feet tall. But
Right.
he is like a hard nosed defender. Like that's a lot of effort. If he
Hmm.
can kind of instill some of those values into our players, I think that's an overall good thing. Even if he's getting a little too much money to give, it's not like we really had anyone else to give it to.
Exactly, yeah.
And is on a 2+1, so only the first 2 years are guaranteed, and the third year is a team option. So
Oh,
we
team
could,
option. Okay,
yeah,
nice.
so we could decline it. The Dylan Brooks one, 4 years, 80 million, I think. Incentives bring it to 90 million. It's a lot. I think they're all guaranteed, which is not amazing, especially because you think about someone like Dylan Brooks, who, yes, like you said, he has the tenacity on defense. His offensive game is inefficient usually. He had one good year, I think, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's inefficient. You think about that contract, and then you think about the Lakers, who got Austin Reeves back for like 4 years, 58 million or something. And it's like, oh man, one of those players is better, and I don't think it's Dylan Brooks. And he's getting more money. So if you know,
Yeah, man, we got lucky,
if
man.
he can bring the defense in without the yapping, because Rockets already had enough problems with that in the past with Christian Wood, and Kevin Porter
Yeah,
Jr. has had some issues with
right.
that.
Yeah.
Um, if he can tone that down, that'll be good.
I'm
And then
interested to see if like if the coach has anything to do with it too, because like I don't know how the Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins is about like I don't know if he's like I'm sure he's not like condoning it to the extent
right,
of like hey be a dick on the court,
right,
but like I wonder if like Ime will like tell him to dial it back or it's just interesting to see like what's going to happen exactly with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. Is this gonna automatically end at 7? No.
No.
Okay, okay. I just want to ask that real quick. Yeah, and then Jeff Green, like you said, veteran presence in the locker room, I think is really important. I actually don't know if he'll get that much playing time. He might just be like kind of chilling. It might be like kind of like a Udonis, kind of situation in Miami
Oh
where
man, the hammer, man, the
he's a
hammer.
he's a player coach. He'll shout at him in timeouts and from the sideline, and I think that's ultimately good. I think the Rockets need that. He just won a championship with the Nuggets.
I think he got what he wanted. You know what? Like he's
Yeah,
been using on like what 12 teams. We did that,
yeah.
or
We just need some of our younger guys to get that kind of winner's mentality, and I think
yeah,
some of these signings did that, even if they were a little too expensive.
yeah,
I do like the Jock Landale signing. Only one of
yeah,
his years. It's a 4-year deal, but only one of them's guaranteed.
yeah.
Um,
I thought we never really had a good backup to Shingun. Like
mhm,
we
mhm.
had oh what was his name?
Garuba,
Garuba.
Stone
Is that
hands,
Stone Hands? I was gonna say
Stone
Rock
hands.
Hands. I was like I know it wasn't
Stone
Rock Hands.
hands.
And he
Can't
was
catch
fine,
anything.
but can't catch anything.
Can't
Yeah,
catch anything.
definitely can't expect him to like in the pick and roll and like
Hmm.
grab the ball and whatnot. So I
And
think that
Landale,
that was great.
he's
Yeah,
tall, I think. He's like 6'11", so Şengün's only like a 6'9" center.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
different. It's different. Like he's Shingun's definitely more of a playmaking center than
hmm
like a traditional center like Landale is. So that's gonna be I think good as a backup for sure.
And then
And yeah, who else?
I was just gonna say the only thing I didn't love about the Rockets offseason
Yeah,
is some of the players we shipped out I liked. We shipped out
yeah.
KJ Martin. He did request a trade last year, so he might have walked in free agency anyways. But we
Did
traded
he
him.
want playing time? Was that his complaint or
Yeah,
what?
his original complaint was playing time. He was a starter for most of last year too.
Yeah,
Um, and I think he's still, friendly with the Rockets. He was at the summer league and like cheering on the Rockets like first game I remember seeing.
cool.
Um, like right after he got traded. But I think, that'll be some verticality missed. He's a good rim
Yeah,
runner, good
great on the
defender.
fast break, great defender. Yeah.
We shipped out Stone Hands, Usman Garuba, which I'm fine with. I saw so many Rockets games, and I was just like, why does this guy play? I
Wow.
don't understand.
You're gonna put him in over Boban? I mean,
Over
come on, guy.
over Bruno. I like
Oh,
Bruno.
come on.
That's we shipped out Bruno earlier in the year. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Josh Christopher, we shipped out. Loved Josh Christopher.
I like Josh Christopher a
I
lot
liked his game a
too.
lot. I thought, we had a combination of guards that would back up, and he was the one that I don't think ever got enough playing time, but he was the one I liked the
Yeah.
most. So I never really understood.
Yeah, they always, whenever we went to a game, they always just put him in like at the end of the quarter to kind of play it out, give like Jalen Green or KPJ some rest. And I liked what he did when he was on the court. I thought
Yeah,
it's just one of those things where like same as KPJ, not KPJ, Kenyon Martin Jr. like great good players and we wish we have so many, right? And young that we want to get developed and they weren't just having the time. So
yeah.
it's
I
a
think that
shame.
that was the issue. Is they had so many draft picks this last couple of years that we ended up with so many young players that just couldn't
Yeah.
get enough playing time. but we didn't really get a lot of value back for those guys. We also sent
Yeah.
off Ty Washington, who I liked. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I remember, he got drafted. What was that? It was the same year as Jabari, right?
yeah, last year, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
It was Jabari, Tari, Ty. I don't remember.
yeah,
Something
well,
like that.
I went to like quite a few games. I only saw him play like once. Like he never really, they just could not get him, playing time.
Yeah,
So,
we played Dacian Nix instead,
oh my God.
and they waived him. So
Yeah, how it happens, I guess. But yeah. So I mean, overall, I think the Rockets had a good offseason, right? Like, like,
find
right?
Aaron Holiday. Forgot about that.
Aaron Holiday,
Veteran
yeah.
minimum. Yeah.
It was just so interesting. It's so funny to say veteran minimum to somebody who's like 25. Like he's young, right?
I don't know. He's a Holiday brother. Drew's old. Justin's kind of old. I don't know how old
Yeah.
Aaron is. And then like
Also, you're right about Cam Whitmore. He just turned 19, which
19.
is insane.
Yeah. And then we had like you said earlier, Ime, new coach. Aside from all the craziness that happened with his
Uh,
departure from Boston that we won't really get into, but
yeah,
coaching wise, he went in that Celtics team and brought him to the finals in his only year coaching there. So
yeah.
clearly has some sort of winner's mentality that hopefully I think will be it. The Rockets pick, we don't have our pick this year, or it's protected. I don't remember, but
Hmm.
with that, I think they're gonna want to win. Um,
Yeah,
so
I'm excited for that. Honestly, like I remember I was talking in the bleachers with we were there for a summer league game and we were wearing our Rockets stuff and just talking about a conversation with somebody. It said, "Hey, you're a Rockets fan?" Like, yeah. It's like, what do you want this year? Like, what do you expect? And I was like, honestly, like just right now, I just want to get in the play-in. Let's see if we can get in the play-in. We'll see if we get that far. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't. We
yeah,
probably won't make it into the playoffs officially, but like play-in tournament would be cool. It'd be good as next step, right? Instead of just being at the bottom. I just want to be at the bottom again.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think about it, the Blazers with this Damian Lillard thing,
yeah,
theoretically they're going to be bad. The Spurs
yeah,
will probably be bad. But after
yeah,
that, it's like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of good teams in the
yeah.
Western Conference, so it'd be
Thunder gonna be
like the
better.
Thunder will be better.
Jazz are gonna be better. I mean,
Yeah,
last year they were supposed to be like the
they
ones
were
that were just
supposed to
like
tank, and then they were the
they
one
and they
seed.
are like, yeah, I was
So
absolutely
weird.
insane. But yeah, you're right. I think something that the Rockets do have though is I love that like young, they have something they want to prove,
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see what they do with that. They're gonna be fun to watch. At the end of the day, like that's what it is. And I don't know if these signings. I think the signings will make them. I think they were 14th or 15th in the West this year.
Mm.
Were they like dead last?
They were, I think they were tied with the Spurs.
That's
Them
what
and
it
the
was.
Spurs had the
Yeah.
same record. It was like 20 and
So
62, I think. So
yeah, it was
if we can
not
get
great.
to 35, if we can,
Yeah. Yeah.
try to make a little bit of a push, that's a 15 game improvement. I don't think that's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the optimism.
Exactly. We want to be optimistic, but it's not just about the Rockets.
It's not just
Okay.
about the Rocket. There's another favorite team here.
Another very important team to talk about, and that is your Los Angeles
That is your that's
Lakers.
not my Lakers.
My Los
That's
Angeles
your Lakers.
Lakers.
So let's you
Yeah,
want me to
yeah.
give you a
Let's.
rundown real quick and then I can
Um, I think I remember most things. Let's be
okay.
honest. Yeah.
Okay.
So, when it
Tell
comes to
me
the
tell us
draft,
about the Lakers. Yeah.
I know we drafted JHS, Jalen Hood-Schifino. Did I say it right?
Yep. Yep, you did.
Yes, finally. There's a lot of Jalen's now. That's what I
A lot
remember.
of Jalen's.
We saw him in summer league. I thought he did great. He was
Hmm.
he was fun to watch. I know Max Christie definitely outshined him. Max Christie was, I think, elected to like the third summer league All Star team. So
Mm,
good for him. The only Laker to do so, I
I
believe
didn't know
so.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty cool. Rockets had Cam, Jabari, and Tari, I think.
Mm,
Spread out between the three. But I overall I like what the Lakers did a lot. Um, I remember when we won in the bubble and the year after, like it just we blew it all up, and we're like, just why don't we just run it back like we wanted to? And I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of this last year that the Lakers would have made it to the Western Conference Finals, I would have called you crazy. We still had Russell Westbrook, which just wasn't working.
they started
Um,
the year like what, 2-12, 2-14, something
It
really
was one
bad.
and 10, yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember after each game, I was like, "Don't worry, they'll turn it around. Don't worry, they'll turn it around." It's just the beginning of the season. Like I just kept saying, telling that to myself.
And they did.
And they did. And I mean, we got D'Lo in the middle. We got D'Lo, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and like these names aren't superstars,
Hmm.
but they contributed a lot of really good minutes in the playoffs. And especially, I really, D'Lo. I like D'Lo quite a bit, but I think he uh, didn't really prove himself in the playoffs that well. But I think this year, a full year at the Lakers, is going to do a lot of good. I really like what Jared Vanderbilt did. He did a great job defending, the other team's best player, and I loved his mentality. He would tell the coach Darvin Ham that he wanted to guard like the other team's best player. Like he's like, I want Steph
Hmm.
Curry, and I love that. He's like, he's not afraid. You know what I mean? So I love that we kept him around. We got Rui, which I thought was probably the most random thing that happened. I just did not expect, but wow, he
I
was
mean,
good in the
they only
playoffs.
traded what, like a second round pick for him?
Kendrick Nunn, and a second round pick, something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And he might be in the starting five next year.
yeah, I mean, I really liked what I saw from him. He really did a great job, just coming onto the team and making a difference almost immediately. I remember watching the games when he first came to LA, and I was always worried about our depth. We never had depth, but when we still had Russell Westbrook and everything.
Hmm.
But he would come off the bench and he would do quite a good job. Like we made a little bit push before the All-Star weekend and everything, and then when we really got the other players, we did a lot better. Made it all the way to Western Conference Finals, and very proud of that team. And I'm so glad that we are basically running it back. We're
Hmm.
just getting better, at least in my opinion. So we got Austin Reeves back. We mentioned
Hmm.
that earlier.
Good value.
He's him. He's him.
I'm
Uh,
him.
him. Love that. We were worried a bit because other teams could have offered a lot of money, and I guess they didn't. So,
Hmm.
that's great. We got him back. Re-signed Jared Vanderbilt. We let Malik Beasley go, which I get why he wasn't on the Lakers. He wasn't good, but he has a proven track record. He was great on the Jazz, great on the Timberwolves. I think the Bucks signed him. Bucks or Sixers.
No clue where Malik Beasley's playing. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, but we're not getting him back, but we signed we got Jackson Hayes,
Hmm.
signed him. We
Good
signed
big man signing.
good big man. We haven't had a good big man. I mean, Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. I mean,
Dwight
you could even
Howard,
argue. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like in the
number
years after,
39 or something.
yeah, not sure. Yeah, exactly. We had Marcus Gasol for a season. He was
Yeah.
fine. We had
And then he
Montrezl
retired.
Harrell.
Uh,
Like these are all like not true centers that like I think we needed to complement our games. And then we got Mobamba, which I liked his signing. I wish they would give him a chance, but they let him go. I think he
yeah,
went to the
they just
Sixers.
waived him, right?
Yeah.
So
They
weird.
had something else in mind. I mean, they got Jackson Hayes, so he's not a floor spacer, but he's a young, big, so
From
that'll be good.
what
From
school?
UT Austin.
UT Austin.
Yeah. Shout out UT Austin, alma mater.
Shout
And
out.
then
I didn't go there, but shout out.
yeah, shout out. You were close. You're close
This
enough.
class.
Um, got Gabe Vincent,
Gabe
which
Vincent.
which is a very interesting signing. I was surprised. I didn't even know we were gonna be targeting him.
3 years, 33 million or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And obviously on the Heat, he proved himself this last year and went all the way to the finals.
Hmm.
And you know, this is another good ball handler, someone who can handle the ball besides LeBron. And we have D'Lo too. Like this is all good signings, only positives as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm.
Like solid defender, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
not crazy, but he's a good balanced player. And now I'm blanking. I was so confident that I knew.
No, I mean you got pretty much the main guys. I think the guys that'll really crack the rotation and make an impact,
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs.
yeah.
The two players I haven't heard. Uh, Cam Reddish,
Cam
Torian
Reddish
Prince.
and Torian Prince. Right, 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 right. And I think honestly, the Cam Reddish one, especially, is like a why not signing. Like he has a chance to
Right.
prove himself. We've done that in the past few years. We did that with Malik Monk.
Hmm.
He signed for veteran minimum, proved himself on the Kings now, got his bag, good for him. Lonnie Walker, who we had this last year and did great. Fell out of the rotation a little bit, but came back in a big way in the playoffs. Fourth quarter, Lonnie won
Hmm.
us a game against the Warriors. I think he's with the Nets, so that'll be fun to watch him over there. And now Cam Reddish, I don't think he's on the level of those two guys by any means. I think he will ride the bench mostly, but maybe he'll get some PT, and if he can, get his 3-point percentage up, maybe do a little defense. You know, there was like a no, it was like a why not signing type thing, a minimum, and then Torian Prince is great, proved himself on the Timberwolves, 3-and-D guy, great defender, shooter. Like finally
Hmm.
surrounding LeBron with the shooters that we
You can
need.
shoot. You can play with
Instead of
LeBron.
people that are like 38, like that one year when we had like Wayne Ellington,
Oh my God.
Carmelo,
Wesley
Trevor
Matthews,
Ariza, Wesley, like all these guys that are like
so
38.
old. That whole team
Oldest
was so
team, and
old.
that it was insane. That was insane.
Half of those guys are out of the league.
I know. I could not. I did not even know who they were when they signed. Like I was still getting back into the game, but um, no. At least if his what why I think these signings were good is at least if they are at least for Torian Prince at least. Let's say his 3-point percentage isn't as good as it was last year because for a reason when people come to the Lakers they just don't shoot as well.
Hmm.
Even though that might not be as good, he's still a solid defender. Like that's not going anywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought they had a great offseason. It kept the core, re-signed Rui, and still got AD, still got LeBron, and I'm just excited to see like what we do this year. Honestly, like we're just better than we were last year, you know?
Yeah. I I would, thinking about the Lakers, how their start last year, they end up going to the Western Conference Finals. I think they didn't lose anyone that was like super critical. I know Lonnie
No.
Walker got some PT there in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Dennis Schroeder went to the Raptors.
Schroeder, which
Um,
love one of the players. I know when we signed him the first time, I was ecstatic because
yeah,
he was sixth man of the year that year. I'm pretty sure.
from the Thunder. Yeah,
The Thunder, yeah, really like his game, his tenacity, his you know, playmaking is has room to be desired, but he's not afraid, and that's what I loved
hmm,
about it. Like he wouldn't back down, and um, very happy that he came back to the Lakers, and wish we could have kept him, but happy for him that he got a pretty good you know package in Toronto. So
yeah,
just happy for him, and happy he was with us this year. So yeah, we did lose him. So, but if you think about what we lost, we traded Dennis Schroeder for Gabe Vincent. So it's
yeah.
like, you lose some, you win some. We'll see.
So what do you think with all these free agent acquisitions coming off a Western Conference Finals appearance? Like, where do you see give me a realistic, where do you see the Lakers ending up this year? Are they the
Number
best?
one, man. No, I'm kidding.
Are they, regular season seeding, playoff, how far will they go?
I would love, because the past 2 years they've been in the no, actually not the 2 year because they didn't make it the year before. But in the last 3 seasons, and the time they made it in the playoffs, they were in the play-in tournament. And
Mm-hmm.
I would really love for them not to be in the play-in tournament. Because
Hmm.
although like you play one game or two games, it does, especially when you get to like LeBron's age, like
Hmm.
the fact that he's still playing as he is great. But the more games you play before the games that really matter, it just takes away from what you could do later. Like you could just tell when against the Nuggets, he was just gassed. Like he was just,
Hmm.
you had to make 17 games to get into the finals. Like that's a lot of basketball to play through. So if you remove a game or two here and there, I think is a great benefit. At least 6 seed. Like you said, the West is stacked. I mean, Suns are going to be interesting to watch, to say the least, this year. Um, we'll see what they're able to do. Warriors are still good. They're going to have Chris Paul now, which is going to be another interesting. We'll see how that works.
Hmm.
Um, oh God, who else is the Nuggets, defending champions?
champions. Yeah.
But they lost Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, so how good are they really going to be?
Yeah. Key
But they got
pieces.
they got Reggie Jackson. They kept him, so good for him.
Yeah. I thought, going back to Reggie for a sec, I was reading something that was like they only had like one not minimum contract to give, and they gave it to
Yeah,
Reggie Jackson.
they have a mid-level exception. They gave it to
Yeah.
Reggie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I've
It's
read a lot about that.
interesting
Like,
because he didn't play for their championship team, so it's
yeah,
weird.
yeah, it's not in the rotation really. He popped in for a few minutes here and there, I think, but
So
didn't really do it.
you want the Lakers to finish six or above.
Six or above is what is I and
I think
realistically,
that's
I
realistic.
can see that. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. They're going to be a better regular season team than
Assuming
last year,
health. Assuming health.
assuming health. This is all, of course, and
With LeBron
um,
and AD, it's hard to assume
it's
health, but
God, it's tough. Hey, at least I'm more confident in them than I am the Clippers. So I'll tell you that much.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, yeah. But I am really excited to see what they can do. I think they can. They're a really good shot this year of making the playoffs without the play-in, and then maybe going pretty far. What do you think? Does that make sense?
Yeah, when I think of the West, I think, just because the Nuggets won, you have to have them up there. The
Yeah,
Suns, I think, would be pretty good with their big three that they just formed. I think they made a good amount of, veteran minimum
I
signings or
think so
whatever to
too.
to
Yeah,
be competent as assuming health. This is all assuming health.
of course. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then I think but I do think after the Nuggets, like I'd probably pencil them in as the one seed. After that, the Lakers could be the two seed.
Yeah.
I think they're up there. I think they have the top end talent with LeBron and AD, and they made signings that I think will actually complement those players like Gabe Vincent, Torian Prince, those guys that can shoot around
And
LeBron.
re-signings, like we kept the players that all were
Right.
proven. Austin
Rui,
and
Austin
Rui.
Reeves. Yeah. No, I think they'll be right there. Because there are some question marks. Mavericks didn't even make the playoffs last year,
Which is crazy
which is
to me.
crazy.
I did not even think that. I never for a second thought they weren't going to make it because I think, I mean, they signed Kyrie, right? But they got rid of their depth and they're trying to
Yeah.
fix that. So we'll see.
And then, Grizzlies will be without Ja for a while. I think
Right.
the Kings, I feel like will just have a natural regression just from going from no playoffs to three seed. I feel like was a huge jump. So I feel like
Yeah.
they might drop to 5, 6, something like that. Um,
Yeah.
Pelicans, they seem like they're going to be good every year, and then something terrible happens to their team, so it's like hard to tell.
We want Zion.
We
You know
want
what I
Zion.
mean? NBA fans want Zion.
We
Like,
want
come
Zion
on.
like
I don't know.
Mariah Mills wants Zion.
I just don't know like what is. I wish I knew more about what's going on behind the scenes there and like why, because I don't know if he's just injured all the time and then
Yeah,
like I don't know motivation issues as well, or they're shutting him down because they're like, I'm not even gonna play, we're not gonna make it that far. So it's just
right.
I've seen him play like twice. Um and he was good. You know what I mean? Like no one could
In
stop him.
person?
Yeah, I saw him play against the Spurs.
Hmm.
And then I also pretty sure I saw him here
Clippers.
against the Clippers.
Yeah,
It wasn't the play-in game, because that was a really fun game to go to. But he didn't play there. But I did see him, I think, another time. But I definitely saw him against the Spurs, and no one could stop him. But the Spurs weren't. Who's
yeah,
going to stop him?
yeah, right.
But yeah, you make great points about that, and yeah, I think the Lakers do have a chance to make it that high. I don't think it's on their priority to be like the best regular season team. I think
Mhm.
they're mostly worried about health,
Playoffs.
which
Yeah.
makes sense to me. But I do love that they did address, if you compare other teams, like they have that depth, which maybe
Hmm.
others don't have. Like maybe the Nuggets only have. Like Suns have a lot of veteran depth.
Hmm.
Warriors have a lot of young depth.
Hmm.
Um, and I think Lakers have a lot of solid people there that can help them out. Um, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Grizzlies are pretty deep too, but without Ja, it's going to be pretty tough. They
Yeah.
lost Tyus. They lost Tyus Jones.
Lost
I
Tyus.
forgot
That's a
about that.
tough loss. That's a tough
They got
loss.
Marcus Smart though, but I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really
Yeah, I think
do that for me.
I would assume without Ja, they start Smart, Bain. Jackson Adams, and I don't know who
Like
the fifth
not
guy
it's not
would be until then.
yeah, like it would be like one of the someone at the four, right? Like
Well,
or
Jack,
the three, right?
the
A
three,
wing. They have
yeah.
the wing. Yeah, yeah. I don't
They
even
could
know that.
run
I don't have the
Zaire
roster.
Williams.
Yeah.
They could run uh
Who else do they have?
Luke Kennard. Like
Luke
he's on the
Kennard get
Grizzlies
some shooting. Yeah, hey, yeah, get some shooting in
till
there.
Ja comes
Yeah,
back. But
yeah. I think that's fine as a starting lineup. Just that depth is has room to be desired, of course. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what the
yeah,
season holds. Now we just gotta wait
all right.
um for a bit, right?
Yeah, but we will be podcasting until then. We have topics to talk about. We have things to talk about. Um,
Exactly. Things are always
we
happening, and then
we
we
had
want to.
we had one more topic about general off-season stuff, but I think we've been recording for a long time already, so we
Yeah,
might
yeah,
want to
we can
hold
talk
off
about
on
that
that.
next time. Yeah, yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about that next time. But
So
yeah, it's yeah, we definitely still have a lot to talk about. We didn't even get to the East really.
didn't get
This
to
is
the
about something.
East. We didn't
Yeah,
get to any
yeah,
of the general off-season stuff.
yeah, yeah, nothing wild. But I think we covered a lot, and um I think people will understand what we're trying to do with this. I think
Yeah.
that's what matters, and we're open to you know, comments and anything to help us
Suggestions.
better,
Yeah.
suggestions, of course, and everything.
Yeah, to
Um,
the listeners, we don't this is like, it's the first episode. This is something Dom and I have talked about for years, doing, because
yeah,
we love basketball. We love sharing our
yeah,
opinions, our insights, our thoughts, our fun, our enjoyment, all that stuff. We don't know, what the schedule for this is going to look like. I don't think, starting out at least, I don't think it's going to be something consistent, like a once a week thing. I would love it if we could do like once a week or something, but Dominicus is a full-time job and also a full-time musician. I'm
yeah.
a
And you're a teacher,
I'm a
so
teacher. I'm about to start
yeah,
school, so
so
well,
shit's tough.
we may have time where we get busy, but we do plan on having more episodes talking about the rest of
Absolutely,
the off season. Probably, I assume before the season starts, we want to get into some predictions. Just because like
yeah,
predictions are hard. They're hard. They're really wrong most of the time, but they're
yeah,
fun. They're fun to like come up with your prediction, your logic. We'll probably do some award predictions. We'll do some standing predictions. We'll do some like, oh, we think this player might be the best at their position kind of things. And we'll get into all that in future episodes, I
yeah.
think.
And we'll talk about city jerseys too. Love ranking those, and
That's a
uh
great idea, actually.
that I love looking at those because I
Do
mean,
a little,
you have a great one in your background. You got the Rockets,
not a city jersey. This
what
is
is it?
the this was
What do they
just like
call it?
a
Statement jersey?
throwback, like a
Oh, okay.
because it's throwback to the San Diego ones. The Rockets
Yeah,
city
yeah.
jersey is the
Oh, the
blue
stripe.
striped ones, and the stripes don't line up, and it absolutely
Hopefully,
drives me insane. It's been the
hopefully
city
they
jersey 2 years in a
update
row.
it. I know I was gonna say hopefully they change it. Hopefully the Suns change it up to this year, but yeah, and Damon and I just love talking basketball, all aspects of it. So we have a lot to talk about. Can't wait to talk uh about it and let y'all listen in on it. And
Yeah,
yeah, exactly what Damon said. Like we don't know exactly how consistent we're gonna do it right now, but we make time for each other. We like catching up, and basketball is just it's part of that relationship. So
oh yeah,
um yeah, so we're excited for that, and open to comments. And I know Damon, what have you set up some stuff for people if they like what they hear, right?
yeah. Yeah. Let me go to it. I have a YouTube channel that this will go on called D&D's Two Man Game. I also have a Twitter set up that's called D&D's Two Man Game. Um,
There's a theme here. There's a theme here.
there's a, there's a little bit of a theme. That's the name of the show. We might eventually set up, Instagram, other social medias. I definitely want to, and you would know more about this than me with your music, but I definitely, since it's a podcast, I think Spotify is a great idea. I've
Oh
never
yeah.
used Apple Music in my life, so I have no clue how that works. But just places that listeners might just stumble upon the podcast because it's just like recommended in your little thing. Here's a basketball podcast, and somebody clicks on it, gives it a listen, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that that might be a little more discoverable than YouTube. Um,
Yeah, but we'll have it everywhere if you want to watch it. I know, as me personally, I do a lot of driving here in LA, so I listen to a lot of podcasts on Spotify.
right.
Most of them do have a visual companion on YouTube, but
Hmm.
I don't I just want to listen when I drive. I don't want to watch when I drive, or
Right.
I have a lot of time to watch stuff. So
So
we'll
definitely,
make sure it's auditory
yeah.
available. Yeah.
If it's not on Spotify, blame Dominicus. It's his fault.
I'm gonna do my best. That's what I'm gonna say about that.
I'll look right after we stop recording and see how to do it, or you can
Yeah,
walk me
yeah.
through it. I don't know how
It's
to do
easy. It's easy enough. But just on a personal note, I want to say thanks for listening.
it.
And
Leave 5 stars if this is on Spotify.
yeah, do the stuff.
Download
You
the
know what to
podcast.
do.
Subscribe to the channel. Promote it.
Subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Tell
Tell
your
your
friends.
family. Tell your
Better
pets.
yet, listen to this and then regurgitate what we say and act like it was your own original thought, and people
That's
will
a
think
great
you're
point.
really cool.
That's a great point.
And then
Be
just
like,
keep coming
ah,
back.
yeah, I had this hat signed by Reggie Jackson and Jaron Day. The Jackson hat. Oh my God.
Jackson hat. We're gonna have.
I swear.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time for us. We're gonna sign off now, but we talked about a way to end the show. Damon's gonna try and make it without looking.
Without looking, yeah,
Without looking.
I gotta test that. This angle looks right.
No, just do it. I believe
Just
in
do
you.
it.
All right. Okay. Okay. Three.
I hit the ceiling. I hit the
Hit the
ceiling.
ceiling.
It
Hit
doesn't
the
count. It
ceiling.
doesn't count. That was a trial run.
Okay. Trial run. One more time. Okay.
Oh, I hit the fan
Three.
actually.
3, 2, 1. Toss it.
Short.
Short. Anyways, good shot. Anyways, thanks again for stopping by D&D's two-man game. We appreciate you listening and being here, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace out.